All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome into the daily broadcast brought to you by Arctic Air. That's right, we're in the Arctic Air studios tonight. The air, outside today got a little warm, warmer than I thought it was going to be. Now, if you know somebody who's looking for a great career, they need to call Arctic Air. They are hiring right now. Great local West Texas company to work for. Call the Bear, callthebear.com. We got stuff tonight. We got Texas Tech football. Never play anybody that you can't gain anything from playing them. What does that mean? It means don't ever play North Texas. We'll talk about that tonight. We have Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, the debate coming up later. Give us the ultimate sports debate. What is the ultimate sports debate? Pete Rose Hall of Fame? Greatest NFL quarterback? I don't know. What's the greatest sports debate? Maybe even you could do this. I just thought of this. Like two people in the world of sports you would like to see debate each other. I don't know. It's Tuesday. We're going to have fun. And then we have greatest comebacks, Tuesday's best. Texas Tech football, the offense needs to make a comeback this weekend. Yeah, but I thought we were talking about defense all week. Yeah, we are. Yeah, but you scored 16 points. The offense needs to make a comeback. The defense needs to get better. The offense needs to make a What are the greatest comebacks in sports history all time? Individuals, teams, games, whatever it may be. We put all this out there today at theraiderland.com. You start your day there. I have a link to a Dave Waddle 1972 Munich Olympics 800-meter run, which is amazing. If you haven't seen it, go check out theraiderland.com. To me, it's one of the greatest feats in track and field history. So there you go. All that stuff tonight. What are we going to do? We're going to have fun. How are we going to do it? We're going to involve you guys right with us. Thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street. Whether you're on Facebook Live, whether you are on Twitter X, whether you are on our YouTube channel, our ever burgeoning and growing YouTube channel, which if you hadn't signed up for it, you need to. And it's all brought to you by United Supermarkets. So fire away the questions, comments, and everything else. And let's get this thing going on a Tuesday night. Oh, God, what the hell is that? I don't know. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. Glad to have you along here in the Arctic Air Studios. We're brought to you tonight by McAlpin Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Raiderland. Trusted my own family to him. I don't know a better endorsement to give, and I've always wanted him to use it, but he won't do it. Slogan ought to be, don't call a quack, call Kevin Mack if your back's out of whack. And then you have the Canadian band Chilliwack playing as well. Sideline provisions. You want to look good. You want to look even better than your team. You go to Quarter 4. You go online if you're outside the marketplace, quarter4.com. That's the old Cardinals. Sideline provisions going to make you look good. The OG Guns Up logo that got started several years ago, owned and operated by Red Raiders. When you buy it, tell them we said hello from Raiderland. And all the Western wear, I'm wearing Ariat shirt. You see that? Boot City, one money, saving a mile outside the West Loop on 19th Street. Let's get it going tonight. Where are we going to go? Jakob or Jacob or Jacob is checking in on Twitter. We get our Twitter people in early tonight. You guys were late last night. We'll see if, I guess it'll be the YouTube people that are second. Craig says the talking box is on, even though nobody knows where that came from and how it got started, but I approve the fact that you guys still use that. Defense doesn't need to get better. Defense needs to actually enter the stadium. It needs to get better. It needs to get better. They were there in Pullman, Washington in the first half. They were continually put in bad situations. A defense in college football can only do so much unless you're like the Georgia defense or one of those, and you ain't got that defense. James is all about thumbs up, and we appreciate the is that an emoji? Is that what that is? And then somebody says the dogs are about to go bananas. Well, we'll see. They seem fairly tired and moderated tonight. All right, so you guys getting in early, we appreciate it. Spread the message. Invite friends. I know you can do that on most of the platforms we're on, where you can hit like invite, and bring people in. Tell them we're talking about Texas Tech stuff. So we've got Texas Tech. The idea of don't ever play anybody that there is no upside to playing them. And I'm specifically talking about North Texas. Yeah, North Texas. And then specifically talking about Abilene Christian and Tarleton, and and I know why these games occur. I understand the economic reality, Kirby. I truly get it. I do. But there are ways to go about it that don't involve playing teams that no matter what you do, there's no upside. There is zero upside to playing North Texas. There's tremendous downside. As we have seen in 1988, in 1997, and 1999. There for all of them. Don't play those teams. Play anybody else. Upgrade the schedule. Play a team if you can get them. You got to pay a little bit maybe, or you don't pay and you just do a home and home. And hopefully in the near future, when TV takes control of scheduling, yes, that's what's going to take place. Just like TV schedules the NFL, TV will schedule major college football in the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years as all these things come together. But for goodness sake, don't play these teams. There's no upside to it. If Texas Tech beats the snot out of North Texas, you know what the public perception is going to be about 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon? Well, it should have. Why didn't they do that against ACU? Where was that against? And you get the idea. You get nothing out of it. If you struggle against North Texas, you get no benefit of the doubt. Now, if you go play Mississippi State or you go play, I'm running out of teams to put since we got half the Pac-12 in the conference now. But if you go play, I don't know, Northwestern out of the Big Ten, if you go play Duke, if you go play Vanderbilt, whatever, at least you're playing a team that is outside your area, and that if you beat them, fine. If you barely beat them, fine. If you get beat, people go, well, at least it's a legitimate team. You're not doing yourselves any favors if you're an athletic department now by scheduling these games in 2024. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You guys give me your thoughts on that, scheduling or otherwise, whatever you want to talk about on Tech Football. Fire away questions, comments. We love it. We appreciate it. We enjoy it. Thanks to United Supermarkets. You guys can do that whether you're on Twitter, YouTube. Where are my YouTube people tonight? Last night it was Twitter not showing up. Where are my YouTube people? And, of course, Facebook Live. Tuesday's best, greatest comebacks in sports. What do you got? Tech needs to make a comeback offensively. Joseph, defense needs to get better. Joey needs to man up and quit throwing them under the bus. I agree. I didn't like the tone of the conversation Monday. And if I'm Tim DeRuyter, I really don't like it, because if I'm Tim DeRuyter, I want to walk right. So they do the press conference at Tech on Monday. Joey goes first, and then Tim DeRuyter comes in second. And if I'm Tim DeRuyter, I'm sitting there in the hall, and I walk in there and go, yeah, we really appreciated the complimentary football, Joey. Thanks. Thanks for, turning it over so many times on fourth down when you didn't have any control of the game, no reason whatsoever to do that, and thinking it was going to work. And even if you did, it wasn't going to translate to anything without another 2 first downs. But we appreciate that. Thanks. Really appreciate it. James, best comeback. Bills beating the Oilers playoffs in 1993. Yeah, pretty good. Minnesota, Michigan State. Minnesota for Tech. I assume you're talking about the Inside Bowl, which used to be the biggest comeback in bowl history. I think it's been supplanted, and now, and I don't know by who. Reckham is on YouTube. They're the freaking YouTube people. Finally. I've been wanting to watch this live, so I'll watch the previous 6 minutes later. I'm 32 now. I remember 07, 08, my dad listening to you on the radio. Who was your partner back then? Well, that was still my wife. We've been married for a long time. Oh, you mean on the radio? That'd be Don Williams, the Williams and Hyatt Show. Sports Radio 1340 for the most part. 19 years of sports radio, me and Don Williams together. We ended it because of health reasons. We were sick of each other. No, that's not true. Yeah, that was me and Don Williams back in the day. The longest running singularly hosted show in sports radio history in Lubbock or something like that. Dear Hyatt, how are you? I am fine. Do you see UNT beating Tech? No, I do not. They better not. One George Dunham would be happy. Yes, he would be. One of the gentle musers there on the little ticket at Colorado State scheduled, didn't we? Why did Kirby get out of that game? I'll hang up and listen. They had changes there. Tech had some moving around the schedule. You know, Joe Parker, former Tech official, was up there. And there were a lot of moving parts that ended up getting that thing changed on both sides. That I think it was beneficial for both teams to not get out of the game, but just to be able to move around, do what they needed to do. And that's not unusual because you're scheduling games out, 42 years in advance, which seems a little rash to me that we're scheduling 42 years in advance. So that actually, right after World War II, was when that contract was put together. Teams to play instead of North Texas. Damn near anybody in a legit conference or even in a group of 5 that's not from Texas and is not regional. Go play a MAC team, right? You'll get you a little action. Play NIU. They can't do it every game, right? But there's no upside in beating, for the most part, particularly regional teams like North Texas, like Stephen F., like ACU, and you barely beat ACU. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't play UTEP. Don't play New Mexico. Don't elevate them regionally around you. Go outside the region. Pete Cawthon was right, man. Pete Cawthon figured it out in the 1930s. The team that he was coaching in the 30s at Texas Tech, they were wearing really cool red breeches and satin shirts and everything. But they got the name Red Raiders because they were playing all over the country. Now, it would eventually get Pete Cawthon fired because the powers that be at Texas Tech got mad a couple of reasons because he wasn't playing enough teams from Texas, and they wanted him to play the teams from Texas to try to get into the Southwest Conference. Wasn't enough to just beat Sam Baugh there in 36. But anyhow, he had the right idea. Just go play all over the country. So that's what Texas Tech should do non-conference wise until the TV networks tell you who you're going to play in your division and everything else. Don't elevate. Don't give these teams around here a chance. If you beat North Texas again Saturday, nobody's going to give a crap. If you look bad, the world's falling apart. Why doesn't the media and the press conferences ask hard questions? Always seems like they throw softballs. I think they ask good questions. I've been in there for 35 years at different times, and I think the questions are fair. What questions do you want to ask? Hey, why do you suck? Are you a good coach, Joey? Does your wife hate you when you come home after a loss? I hear that a lot, that they only get softball questions. I think everything was addressed that most people wanted to talk about. What were the problems with the offense? What were the problems with the defense? Why didn't Micah Hudson play more? What does he have to do? So I hear a lot of that, at different times. The media is too soft. Don Williams ain't soft. David Collier ain't soft. David Collier gets in insightful questions, by the way, from Red Raider Nation without people realizing. So when you say hard questions, what I hear is, why is the media more combative? Well, for the most part, there's no reason to be combative. Joey's not combative. Tim DeRuyter's not combative. Zach Gilly ain't combative. You got everything you wanted to hear out of that press conference Saturday night after the game, and then again Monday. I think people mistake conviviality and respect for not asking, quote, hard questions. Well, what are the hard questions? Randy, play San Diego State, UNC, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Arkansas, OU, Stanford played Arkansas. Stanford, Maryland. Yeah, okay. I'm with you. I'm all about that. Now, of course, the ADs, the athletic directors, would come back and say, it's got to take 2 to tango. Have you ever tangoed? Have you ever danced with a rose in your mouth? Really painful as shit, and don't ever do it. I'm just saying. The ADs would say, well, they don't want to do it, so we can't. These are the only teams we can get, which is why I thank God that here in a few years, the schedules are going to be mandated by the TV networks and the overlords who are not going to pay the money to have Tech playing North Texas and Tech playing ACU, that they're going to want 12 games of legitimate, good football, just like the NFL. And if you want the NFL money and college football craves it, then that's what you're going to do. But you get nothing out of playing North Texas. Never play these people. What the hell are you thinking? Never play these people. Greatest comebacks in sports history. Individuals, teams, programs. One of the greatest comebacks in sports history, Kansas State football under Bill Snyder. Period, end of sentence. Nobody worse. Elevated to great heights. Got to be one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Fake Natalie Maines, who may or may not be as interesting as the real Natalie Maines. I don't think they're throwing softballs, but a lot of the media do wear. Oh well, there you go. Knee pads outside of Collier Don and Gordon Granger. Yeah. I don't even get that. May I speak frankly? A lot of people asking questions in the presser are young, inexperienced, and they don't really know how to ask a question. They're young, they're dumb, they don't have a lot of context to them. They don't really know how to ask a question. 98 degrees, Raider Alley this year. 32 degrees, can't afford them anymore. Ultimate sports debates. I asked that question tonight. We have Donald Trump and Kamala Harris going at 8 o'clock our time, I believe. What are the ultimate sports debates as we go through in the next 10, 15 minutes of the time we have? Fire away questions, comments, Texas Tech football. If you're with us on YouTube, we got you guys in. Our Twitter people are in. Thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street. That would be the supermarket in Lubbock that actually supports Texas Tech, as opposed to one that sends money elsewhere, downstate. Fire away your questions, comments. We'll go from there. But I do want, what are the ultimate sports debates? So year 2 of the Williams and I show, referenced earlier by one of the commenters, I told Don, because Don and I would get into a huge debate about Pete Rose. He hated Pete Rose, still does. I was a Pete Rose fan growing up, and I believed that he should have the ability to be in the Hall of Fame, or at least be on the ballot, even after, being stupid, getting busted for betting on baseball. I got all that. But at the same time, I thought he should be on the ballot. Put him in, don't put him in. So we had that, and then we both hated the designated hitter for the most part, I think. But June 17th was the day that we reserved every year, once a year. That was the only time we were going to debate the designated hitter, being all across baseball or otherwise, and then Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. June 17th. So what were the ultimate sports? And we never decided anything, really, truly. Hate the designated hitter. It was an overreaction to Bob Gibson in 1968-69, and a total overreaction to some pitchers having some great years. And also was an overreaction to NFL was beginning to take over the sports landscape in the late 60s, and the lords of the realm in baseball panicked. So they lowered them out, and the American League adopted the designated hitter. What day is it? It's not even June 17th. Why am I talking about this? Danny Vaughn, who is a professional baseball broadcaster, shout out to the X's, the Pioneers. Says, sounds easy to ask questions until you're actually sitting there with your mic and recorder. There's a thing called decorum and getting answers over and over, and Don Williams does that. Yes, he does. Michael, the debate between who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, one of the ultimate sports debates. It's really easy for me. I don't care because Dr. J is better than both of them. So it doesn't really matter. And then I'd probably go Magic Johnson on top of that. Call me next time. There's a reason why my intern, who does pregame show interviews, forgets certain things. He is great but young. Yes, they are. We love all the interns. And I mean that in a very non-Bill Clinton way. David Collier, softball aren't soft, by the way. No, they're not. They're large, and they leave big bruises, and the freaking seams like stand out. It's really weird. Glad to see you there on the show. How'd it go on the TV tonight, by the way? Kamala versus Trump tonight. Give us the greatest sports debates of all time, your favorite sports debates. Greatest comebacks to Tuesday's best. We give you a topic. Give us two best topics. Pardon me. Give us the two best examples of the topic. We're asking for the greatest sports comebacks because Tech offense needs to come back. I thought we were talking about the defense all week. They're like 192nd in the NCAA. You scored 16 points, Joey. 4 losses last year on the road, 16 or less. But let's talk about the defense. Never play North Texas. Never play a team that has no upside to being played. James, sports debate. If Barry Bonds' home run record ball is in the Hall of Fame, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Bonds Hall of Fame, steroid users Hall of Fame. Put them in the Hall of Fame. Put a note on the plaque that they played in the steroid era, just like those guys played in the dead ball era, just like those guys never faced a black man on the mound or at the plate. How about we do that? How about we do that at the Baseball Hall of Fame? How about we put the whole damn sport in context? How about we put Ty Cobb was a racist son of a bitch that everybody hated? How about we put all of that in there and let people figure it out? And if they were great players, and if they played great in the era, then they go into the Hall of Fame. It's Hall of Fame. It's not Hall of Great, guys. It's not it's Hall of Fame. Natalie, fake Natalie. I remember your show back then. Don was a master debater when it came to Pete Rose. Well, no, Don was not a master debater when it came to Pete Rose. Don hated Pete Rose. Don thinks Pete Rose is a selfish player because all he did was get on base and he only cared about himself, and it was all about Pete Rose, and just singles and hits and get on base. I don't know what happened to Don Williams when he was living outside of Claytonville and Tulia and Crest in the 1970s in the Big Red Machine. Something did something to him, and it broke him on Pete Rose, and he hated Pete Rose. Of course, Johnny Bench hated Pete Rose, and a lot of people hated Pete Rose. Joseph, greatest sports debate, is wrestling real? Should steroid users be in the Hall of Fame? I don't care if they're on the Hall of Fame, and wrestling is real. Don't believe me? Let's go wrestle. When the USA team came back from several down to win on the last group in golf in 1999, I assume we're talking about the Ryder Cup there with Justin Leonard. Juggled softballs for 3 minutes. You talking about you or Joey this week? See what I did there? That's pretty good. Thought that was pretty good. Recommend. I don't mean to imply the media is soft. Collier, Jarrett, Don, certainly not soft, but the beyond the post-game questions, the fundamental program questions. Obviously, I'm an idiot, so I can't even think of a better question. But I bet I had a few on Saturday night. I'm sure you did. You're not an idiot, but when I hear people say softball question, I'm like, okay. Then I always tell them, okay, what are you not getting that you want to hear? What is the media not doing to the coaches that you want them to do to the coaches? I mean, you want to walk into the press conference and say, hey, Joey, you seem like a straight-running dumbass on the sidelines. The communication seems to be poor. There doesn't seem to be any coherency, offense to defense. You talk about complementary football. It makes no sense. Joey, are you a dumbass? I mean, that I don't think would go over very well, and I don't recommend it. I mean, truly, I don't. And I'm not saying that Joey's a dumbass, but I hear that a lot, and everybody thinks their team is covered by people who don't cover the team hard. Everywhere you go. I've been doing this for 35 years. I get it. I understand it. Did the ticket prank you when they were in town years ago for a Tech game? I think it was Dan McDowell, defunct veteran. No, it wasn't me. I don't remember anybody getting pranked by anybody for the ticket at any time in Lubbock. But it certainly wasn't me. Now, in 1994, the first year of the Williams and Hyatt show, in the first year at training camp for the Hardline, we did go live from the dormitories at St. Edwards in Austin, Texas. Me, Don Williams, and the Hardline live on 4 different phones conferenced in, and it was an absolute train wreck of an interview, and I wish I had tape of it. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was great. You know? Maybe that's what it is. We want the media to portray our frustration. We forget they're professionals. I wouldn't call us professionals, other than Collier, of course, whether he's watching or not. Hey, the good thing tonight, Collier, you know when the debates get end, and you'll go on time if you're doing the 10 o'clock. I don't know if Collier's still on or not. Every fan base, when things aren't going well, they think that the media, their local media, whatever, you know, is not good, and they're not tough enough. But you got to remember, and in markets like this, I'm going to try to be delicate here, but most of the people are trying to get out of the market. And if they get shut out by tech, if they ask questions that tech gets mad, or they get whatever, they get frozen out, then it's hard for them to move on. That most of your weekend guys, your secondary guys, they didn't come here to live. They've got a 2-year contract at most, and they're trying to get their ass out of here. So it's go along to get along. And then the stations themselves are financially fiduciary embedded into the programs to the point where, again, you don't want your station to get a phone call, and now your news director and whoever else has got to go up there and talk to so-and-so at tech, and they say, yeah, you guys can't go, we're pulling your credentials, you can't do it. So it's not really the anchor, it's not really the guys that are covering it that have to worry about that. They're kind of caught in between. It's a nasty little relationship, which is why I like doing what I do and how I do it, because it doesn't really matter to me. I've had my credential pulled before. I might tell that story sometime. I might not. Didn't matter to me. Was the Rainbow Warrior better than Senior in NASCAR? Was always a fun debate. No, he was not. Not even close. But they were close, and they did make a lot of money off each other, and they were very good friends. Man, I saw this week where Dale Jr. is saying he's probably not going to run much more Xfinity. Nobody cares if he runs anymore or whatever, and going to kind of be done with that. I'm like, that's unacceptable. Dale Jr. needs to run some NASCAR races. NASCAR got so many problems. If you're keeping up with the charter dispute, and once again, the France family trying to break the owners, trying to break, I don't know what their goal is anymore. NASCAR, I still pay attention. I watched some of Atlanta the other day. I'll pay attention to Kyle Larson, who got wrecked early. What a nasty hit Larson had. Good luck. 25 years ago, the hit Larson had, by the way, when he snapped hard right and broke into the wall at 180, he dies. No safer barrier, he dies. Unbelievable. Last question. Doesn't have to be the last question. Hey, Reckham, love the questions, love the comments. This is what we have, United Supermarkets, catering to you guys, making sure the communication is open, making sure you go to United Supermarkets. But this is what we do. This is why we do it. So never apologize for questions or comments. Are there any Williams and Hyatt archives out there on the net? Not that I'm aware of. Not that there's like a Williams and Hyatt show page or anything. Now, I know we do have some audio saved. We do have some things, but back in the day from 1994 to 2012, they're just it just didn't save a whole lot of stuff. I do have a couple of boxes of cassette tapes. If you ever want to come over, we can find a cassette player. We could play some of that. But not a whole lot of that saved, fortunately or unfortunately. I'm not even touching that, Randy. Of course, he has them donated and sponsored. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Greatest sports debates, best comebacks in sports. Tech, never play North Texas, ever. Don't play these people. Your thoughts, your comments, everything else. We got a few more minutes left with you. We'll be watching the debate tonight. I think it's going to be fairly interesting. I hope so. Matters to America, whether you're voting red, blue, or otherwise. I highly recommend you pay attention to these things. So that's why we have the greatest sports debates of all time tonight. And then tomorrow, of course, we'll be with you. Over, underrated, right? Wednesday, we give you a topic, and then you tell us things that are overrated or underrated within said topic. That's at Raiderland.com website. We do cool stuff. My favorite thing is putting together the morning hot links every day. Cool stuff from around the web. I hope you guys like that. It's really not that hard to do, but I hope you guys like that. It's a lot of fun putting that out there. Me and Williams need to write a book. He could write it. He could absolutely write it. That'd be cool. I don't know what we write about. It's really actually pretty. No, it wasn't boring. No, that's not true. We had a lot of things that went on that I'm telling you right now. Is that Glenn? Glenn, if I told you the true stories of everything that has happened with me covering Texas Tech over the last 35 years, you wouldn't believe it. You'd think I was making it up. You wouldn't believe it. I could tell true stories, and they could be salacious, and people would go, nah, that really didn't happen. So, Triple C on YouTube, best sports comebacks, 23 Tech winning overtime versus 13 Iowa State after being down 23, led by the great Mark Adams. Mike's being muted will not make it as fun for sure. I'm glad they're muted, actually. I want a debate where the candidates just stand there and ask each other questions. Get rid of the freaking moderator. And if you can't handle that as a candidate, why should you be president of the United States of America if you can't stand there and question the other guy or the other lady for an hour and just trade questions? I mean, that to me would be the ultimate debate. I don't need, and the problem now is that the networks have got their claws sunk into it and they make money off it. Get rid of them. Get rid of everybody. Two people stand up there, Lincoln Douglas style, quizzing each other. Let's do it. You know? If you can't do that, how can you run the country? Good, because I think on the fly, which coach do you think was set up best for success? Joey Wells, Kingsbury. None of them really. Kingsbury sort of slipped into a warm bed, as we say in the coaching fraternity, coming out of the Tuberville era, but not awesome. So probably Kingsbury slipped into the best bed. Recruiting was abject under him. Wells comes in, and then Wells was just a quagmire of, we don't know what to do with the portal. We're old, we're young, we don't have anything. So I would say Kingsbury slipped into the warmest bed of all of them. None of them really just slip it into a absolute great situation. Otherwise, none of them would have been there. All right, we've gone green, white, checker. A little bit overtime tonight. That's fine. That's cool. We're going to post this on the website, theraiderland.com. What do we ask you to do? When we put that there on the website, theraiderland.com, if you can go back and share that with your friends, whether it's on Twitter or, Facebook or whatever it is, go link to it, invite your friends in and say, hey, we do this pretty much every night, 6:30. I got to wait till Collier's done. That's part of the contract deal I have with him. I can't go on until he's done yapping on TV. And then invite some people in and say, all right, let's grow Raiderland. Let's have awesome discussions. And it's supposed to be fun. And I hope you guys have fun when we do. I have fun when we do this. I hope you guys have fun. I learned a long time. I could go out and be Mr. Negative and be, just throwing grenades and bombs all the time. And that'll get clicks. That'll get whatever. But it's not really enjoyable. And it also takes away from the fact that sometimes when you actually do have to say something that's moderately negative, if you say that all the time, nobody really pays attention to you when you say it when you mean it. So go to the website, theraiderland.com. Share this when we post it later on tonight. Enjoy the debate. We'll be back with you in the morning on the website, theraiderland.com. Over, under, and rated right Wednesday. And of course, all the hot links, which are tasty. This is where this is hard. I need a producer and a master control like Collier, he just has to sit there and look pretty and somebody else punches the buttons. I got to figure out where am I looking, what am I looking at? I got to hit this. Is it over? Do I hit that? Yeah. I hit that. I think